Life felt a bit overwhelming, so I decided to give myself some space and go out into nature and have a really big adventure. And this is what happened. My first few days on the trail were quite hard. I had lots of pain on my hips, in my feet. I was super hungry because I was burning so many calories by walking the whole day. And I just found that my head was so full, and I kind of didn't enjoy hiking as much as I thought, and I was so overwhelmed by how long this journey would last, like how big of an adventure this actually is. And I thought that I set myself too big of a goal and I'd never be able to reach it because, yeah, it's just too much. But slowly I started to meet really nice people who had the same intention to walk the South Island of New Zealand. And I got quite motivated talking to others about this journey and how they were feeling. And it got better and better each day as I adapted more to being in nature and walking for several hours each day. I'm pretty afraid to stay in this mountain hut alone because I don't know who comes here, and I'm alone for now, but it's close to the road and so everyone could walk in here, and I'm really exposed. There is no service and anything, so I'm scared. On some days I didn't really feel like hiking at all because I was just tired and my feet were super sore. And yeah, on these days I felt like, well, I should keep hiking, otherwise I will probably run out of food and starve to death. So I tried to do a bit of distance each day until I would get to a town. And then once I would be in town, I would give myself a rest day and then keep hiking again. After several days of hiking, I finally got to the spot where I picked up my first food parcel, and I was so excited and proud of myself. I'm having a rest day today, and I just washed my hair, had a shower after 10 days hiking, and I was so smelly. So for cooking, I used my little gas cooker, and I brought 2 pots with me and a lot of dehydrated food. The food I dehydrated all myself before I started the hike with a dehydrator, and I sometimes brought like a bottle of olive oil or something to give myself some more fat on the hike. And yeah, I had like pasta, rice, quinoa, buckwheat, barley, and then all these dehydrated vegetables that I prepared. And yeah. I found it quite healing in a way, walking for so many hours each day and not having the usual distractions, the entertainment, phone, lots of friends around, music, whatever. I was just on my own in nature, and that was it. And I feel like slowly all these things that I suppressed in the past few months while I was working something where I wasn't very happy, and all these things came up in my head, and I slowly started to work through them. And the more I walked, my mind just became more clear, and everything seemed lighter and less intense. And I really enjoyed this journey of slowing down and trying to be more present in nature and looking at what's around me and appreciating the beautiful nature of New Zealand. So tomorrow I do the second highest point of the TA, and I'm really scared because it's supposed to be very snowy and I don't have any ice axe and crampons. And people in the hut book, they wrote that they did it, but I'm pretty sure they are better equipped than me. The fear of dying was quite present along the hike. It wasn't especially like the dying itself that I was scared of. It was more like the fact that I was on my own, and if I would die, nobody would know and nobody would find me for days. And it was just super scary to know that there wasn't really help around if I would have needed it. I made it mostly up the pass, and there is the lake. Nice view. But it was vertical climb, like straight up. I made it! That's so fun! I was usually hiking for like days and I wouldn't see one single person. And also in the huts I was sleeping mostly on my own. And sometimes I wished I would have had some more company. I had parts where I was feeling a bit lonely. Like I wouldn't know really how to fill my time, my thinking space during the hike. Like I felt like I needed some intellectual stimulation. because I had so much time each day, and yeah. Rainy. Sometimes I just kept hiking in the rain because I didn't really have a house or, somewhere to go back to, and I had nothing apart from my backpack. So yeah, I hiked in the rain, and I would get to a hut and try to keep myself warm and have some food and wait out the rain. On that day, I stayed in a really basic cabin with a really basic bunk bed with a canvas sheet, and the rain was coming into the hut, and I didn't manage to light a fire because it was so wet. So I decided to go back to the previous hut, which was in lots better condition, and wait out the rain there. It's crazy to see how most of the path have just turned into a river.
My name's Richard, and doing the TA, and wow, I don't know, it's awesome.
Awesome. How was it for you being stuck in this hut for like a whole day because of bad weather?
Good, really chilled, and just a really good experience, and just having some real good time to chill out, and just taking the whole environment, I guess, and it's just been a really good experience.
After 3 days of not being able to hike because of high river levels and heavy rainfall, we managed to go back on the trail and continue our beautiful adventure. My days were mostly filled with silence. I was just walking and walking, and sometimes I would listen to some music when I really felt that my motivation was super low, and sometimes I would listen to an audiobook, like in the evening when I was in the hut on my own. Seeing the beautiful New Zealand landscapes and beautiful flowers and shrubs and animals saying hello along the way motivated me a lot to keep going. The simplicity of staying in mountain huts each day was so beautiful. The way of cooking, for example, on an open fire and getting some water from the river that is flowing next to the hut and washing myself in the river, and just hearing the sounds in the night of the birds in the forest that is around the huts. It's so beautiful and healing. When my backpack was getting lighter and we would get closer to a town, I was always getting so excited about what food I would be eating once I would be in town, and what would be the first thing I would do. And I was always dreaming about fresh vegetables and the texture of fresh bread. Oh, it's just wow. You really start to appreciate proper food and not dehydrated meals. I already had quite old shoes when I started hiking, and during the hike the condition of my shoes got soon quite bad. Like pieces started falling off and I wasn't able to hike properly anymore with them. I got quite sore feet and I twisted my ankles. And so I decided to start and fix my shoes myself with whatever I found in the mountain huts. For example, some wire, some fencing wire, and I made some new holes for my shoelaces. And it helped me for a few days. My feet got so sore at some point that I decided to just keep walking in my sandals. And then luckily I got to a hut where a park ranger also stayed for the night, and he had a drill with him, and I told him about my shoe situation and if I could borrow his drill, and so I did, and I started drilling holes in my shoes so I could fix my shoelaces properly, and so I was finally able to tie my shoes up again, and I was so proud of myself, and I found it quite funny how I drilled my shoes to fix them. Parts of the long distance walk were actually quite boring. It was basically just walking on roads for several hours and the feet got super sore, or walking through super boring farmlands and the landscape wouldn't change much. But yeah, most of the parts of the Araroa trail were really beautiful, and yeah, such amazing mountains.
Devotion that brings me down. That without my love,
Did you have one?
for the ocean, I will be no one. No one.
Charlotte and Michael are also two TA walkers, and I spent quite a lot of time with them, and we kept bumping into each other along the trail. Good life. Woo, good job, guys. We made it to the house. One day, when we were just about to do the highest point of the Araroa trail, it was snowing so much.
Jesus.
Jesus.
The chef has the first pick.
Big tree.
Which one do I want?
Your number is gold.
Oh, man.
Tea? I don't feel like the cup of tea yet, but...
What are you capturing on film? Woo! Life on the limit. Way! Life on the limit! Whoa! Good job!
It was quite challenging hiking in snow and making steps up to the saddle, and the snow was just getting deeper and deeper, and it was getting harder and harder and quite dangerous with avalanches too.
Good job, team! Life on the limit.
The only thing I forgot to bring with me on the hike was sunglasses, and I was one day out in the snow and I didn't have any glasses, and I was just staring into the snow for several hours with my eyes, and so the next day I got basically snow blind and I couldn't see properly anymore. And my eyes were tearing for several days and it was just so painful.
Woo! Life on the limit! Beer time!
Most nights I would sleep in mountain huts along the way, and on some nights I would sleep in my bivy bag. The bivy bag was the emergency shelter that I decided to bring on the hike. It's really lightweight and super fast to set up, and it's also waterproof, so it works really well for me. I usually had a rough plan what I would be doing the next day and where I would be going, just looking at the map. But what was happening then in reality the next day was always kind of a bit like a surprise. That day I cooked pasta in a public toilet next to a campground because it was the only sheltered spot from the rain. And yeah, I just kind of hoped nobody would need to go to the toilet. I started to hike the South Island in springtime, which is not the time when most people do it because it is quite dangerous. There's still lots of snow in the mountains, and because the snow is melting, the river levels are quite high, and the weather is not very stable yet. There can be still quite a bit of rainfall and colder temperatures. But yeah, I went for the challenge and I quite enjoyed the challenges that I faced along the way, because with every challenge I felt like I grew so much and I felt nearly invincible, like after overcoming some of like some snowstorms or some really big river crossings. I just started feeling lots more confident in myself and really proud. And the adrenaline kick that I got was just amazing. I'm so happy! I made the crossing of the biggest river! It was so scary. My hands were shaking and my feet were shaking, and wow, that was life on the limit! This was my longest day ever, and I'm just very sore and really hungry. Ooh. My phone got wet during a rainstorm because I just had it in my rain jacket to look at the map and find the way to the hut. And I tried to put my phone in rice to make it work again, but after several days having it in rice, it still didn't work. So I was basically without phone and without any maps for the rest of my hike. And part of me was quite glad to not have the distraction of the phone at all, because I was basically just super in the moment, and I looked out for signs that would tell me where to go next, and I didn't have any music or anything. But part of me was quite scared and didn't like the idea of not having even a phone in the middle of the bush, because I kind of needed to know where to go next and how far I was away from huts so I could do some better time management. But it's kind of seemed to turn out well without phone too. One must think I'm used to hiking now because I've been hiking for over a month. But no, I can tell you that's definitely not the case with me. I still struggle so much uphill, and I'm sweating, and I never get used to my heavy back. One of the biggest luxuries on the hike was sleeping in a hostel once in a while, and just having a real bed and a proper blanket and a warm, dry space where I could dry out all my wet clothes and just be. Being in nature day after day made me realize how important it is for my mental health. Just seeing all this beauty around me and having silence and the space to think and the space to just be was such an important lesson for me. And I realized that even when I finish the hike, I want to keep living a life close to nature and take the time to appreciate it. And also being in nature made me realize how much value it has in my life and that I want to keep protecting it. For example, by doing conservation work, by just picking up rubbish that I find along the way, by living a plant-based diet, and so on. That's what I'm soon going to do with my shoes too. The Araroa journey was such a big step for me. I basically went completely out of my comfort zone, and day by day I adapted to a new situation, and I went through challenges and overcame my fears, and it was quite amazing how I was able to do something I never thought I could do. And I realized that with consistent work I can do anything. So I'm feeling a bit sad and also excited. This is my last night in my bivy bag, and I won't stay in the huts anymore because my TA journey is over. Yeah, it's kind of sad, but I'm really proud of myself how far I've come, and I never expected I'm able to do this and I would be able to survive these massive adventures I've been through. And I definitely tested my limits on the TA, and had such a great time and met so lovely people. So yeah, I'm really grateful for everything that happened. And now it's time to buy new shoes, buy a new phone, and I got a job in the cherry season. So I will be cherry picking from now onwards. And I might finish the rest of the TA another time.